So let's actually do it, right? Let's look at a job posting, right? So I'm going to switch over here to Online Jobs PH, right? And I'm going to open up one of our video or editing jobs here. This is Sonic VA's Online Jobs PH portal, right? And so we have a job posting and the title is Home-Based Video Editor, US Clients. I want to be clear that we're looking for video editors, and we want to look for video editors that have experience with or interest in working with American clients. Very clear, because our clients are pretty much all American, and I want VAs that are comfortable working with Americans. A lot of my team are former call center agents, because that's a good transition from being an employee in a BPO or a call center where you're used to an American style business culture. Maybe you've had a lot of conversations with American clients. It usually translates into being a good VA for American clients. So that's the first thing, the job title. And then the overview, right? So join our growing team, experienced video editor with knack for graphic design. So we're looking for a video editor who can do graphics, right? So not just a straight video editor. We're in search of an individual who can create short form videos for platforms like TikTok and IG, as well as occasional support for long form videos like YouTube. So somebody who can edit both, vertical and horizontal. Somebody who can edit in different applications. Because if you're going to do YouTube style videos that are going to be more horizontal, you're probably going to be using either Adobe products, or you're going to be using Filmora. And if you're going to be doing reels and things that are vertical, you're probably going to be using CapCut or any other kind of phone-based app to be able to do editing. You want to be able to collaborate with clients, right? Or the leads, team leads that you're assigned to. So you're going to be saying communication. We talk about the skills that are required. We want someone who knows how to use Filmora, Canva. So this is not a starter job for a video editor. We don't look for video editors who are, my first job as a video editor. Now, occasionally we do take people who don't have experience being a video editor as a VA, but they've edited videos for a business or for their church or for a college project. So they got an understanding of how video editing works. That's what we require, right? So we want experience using Filmora and Canva. It doesn't matter if you were VA or not, but you have experience using those apps. And then we have requirements basically that we want to make sure that you have. And then finally, we have a couple things I want to point out to you. In all of our job postings and in many clients' job postings, you may see something that is actually an assessment. So if you read through this, to apply section, if you're ready to bring your video editing and graphic design skills for U.S. clients to us, we want to hear from you. Please ensure in your application is reviewed, please include the word New York in the title or first sentence of your application. So when you hit apply for the job, either in the title or in the text of the body, when you send the application, you have to put New York. If you don't, we know you didn't read to the bottom of this. And a lot of people that we screen out in that first, cutting 100 down to 50 is because they don't do that, right? Because they read the first part of it, they kind of scan it, and they apply. Well, they're not serious. They're just trying to find any job, not our job. If they want to work for us specifically, they'll read to the bottom and they'll see they have to include the keyword New York. We also want resume links, right? This is very important because on Online Jobs PH, you can't add an attachment, but you can insert a link. Now, you can't give us your resume, but we're going to need it, even though you have the Online Jobs PH profile. So we need it for HR purposes, right? We need your resume. So we're going to ask you to put a link in your application. So when you apply, there's a link that you put in there to a Dropbox or a Google file or somewhere where you have your resume stored. If you don't have that link, we may or may not move forward with you. If we're busy and we have a lot of applicants and we're on a short turnaround time, the HR person will just swipe left and move on. Maybe they'll send you a message saying like, thanks for applying. However, we require a resume. Can you please submit one? But if we have to ask you to submit your resume, you go to the back of the line because we're going to be working on the ones that actually gave us the link so we can pull the resume ourselves. So if you want to stay in the front of the line, and again, we go from 200 to 1, right? So if you want to be that 1 out of 200, you got to do everything right. It's a numbers game. So only candidates who follow the application instruction be considered for that position. We even tell you that, right? So if you read to the bottom, and if you do the things we ask you to do, and it's not just us, a lot of job postings will do things like this. So they want some kind of check to make sure that you're really interested in that job versus just applying for any job. And so that's how it works, right? That's how we go about it. So let's look at the job posting. Are there cultural nuances in here? Yeah, well, one is we want you to read to the bottom. We're asking for that. Are there things that we talk about? Yeah, we want, knack for graphic design. So we're talking about somebody who's good at creating captivating videos, right? So we're looking for somebody who's creative. And it doesn't say creative necessarily in here loud and clear. It's not a requirement to be creative, but you see it up here in the overview, right? So you're starting to get a sense that we're looking for somebody that's, not going to just be able to do the nuts and bolts, but can actually add some soul to what they do to their work. And then, we're also trying to figure out when we look at a job posting like this, what industry are we in? What is our business? What should we know about? Well, if you talk about here, if you go through it and you look at what we're trying to do, getting a clear understanding of the storyline and purpose behind each video, looking for people that have solid project management experience, organizational abilities to meet deadlines. So we're looking for somebody who's got like structure that can do production video editing, right? So it's not like you're going to be able to take as long as you want to edit a video. We're going to have an expectation that if we give you a 10-minute video from a client and ask you to edit that video, it should take you 5 hours. Now, it'll take the average editor 5 hours. Some videos maybe takes you a bit longer. Some you do faster. Same with a reel. A reel should not take any editor more than an hour, unless the reel is very, very, very complex. But most reels shouldn't take that long. So we look for people that, because we put it in here, different places where we're asking for certain types of experience and expectations. So this is how you look at a job posting, you break it down. You ask yourself, is this you? Are you a video editor? Do you have experience with Filmora? Can you also do graphics in Canva? Can you do both long form and short form videos? If you don't answer yes to each one of these things and you apply, you may have the hope that you can learn it on the go, that you can fake it till you make it. But I got to be honest with you, that doesn't happen, right? When you're working for a business owner, they don't want you to fake it till you make it. They're putting their business on the line. I'm putting my business on the line when I post this. I need a video editor who will help us be really good at what we do best. So we keep getting constant referrals daily. If we start doing kind of like okay work and we take longer than we're supposed to, we're going to start losing clients. So we have an expectation we set. Video editor should take X amount of time to do X amount of videos. And we tell our clients that. And if we don't meet the client's deadline, then what do? Do we refund them the money? Do we give them a discount? Do we tell them, sorry, that's just the way it is? Any of those messages take that client into somebody who probably won't want to work with us again, or at least not as excited about it. They won't tell all their friends, hey, go work with this guy and his team. So you got to see the big picture. And when you look at a job posting, that's what I see, the big picture. And my goal for you tonight is for you to also start seeing a little of the big picture. I know you're not a CEO of a company. I know you're not an American. I know you're probably aren't even a business owner, although you, as a VA, in a sense, you are. You're already being entrepreneurial. You are trying to work for yourself and not work for somebody else. This is how we break it down, right? This is what I look for. So on here, it does show the important things. Salary, right? Our base salary for brand new people is $4 an hour. For people with experience, it's $6. Once you work for us for 6 months, we'll be conversations about raises. Some of our senior editors make $8 an hour. So you see how that goes. Starters at 4, experience at 6, really good people at 8. That's what you should expect, right? As you go and look for the job, somewhere you can grow into. You want to look and see, if the company's legit, right? So Sonic VA, if you Google us, what do you find? If you Google us, you're going to see a ton of my YouTube videos. You're going to see a bunch of our Facebook posts. We're pretty, strong on social media. So you're going to see Sonic VA pop up. So you want to check that. You want to check what we do, and you want to make sure you have the skills. And if that's all good, then apply. So that's breaking down the job posting. So let's kind of do a quick recap of that, right? Take note of cultural nuances, ambiguities. There were some ambiguities for some people. Some people may have looked at the thing and say, well, I don't quite understand what you mean by looking for somebody who can be dynamic, someone who can be creative. I want to make sure I understand that. Ask a question. We list very specific requirements, and we also give you opportunities that if you don't have that exact requirements, that you have transferable skills. Maybe you don't know Filmora perfectly well, but you're really, really good at Adobe Premiere. Well, we consider you, right? So you want to see what's transferable. Many people consider the job title to be the single most important part of the job posting, right? So home-based video editor, US clients. I want to make it clear, looking for a video editor who works at home, who can work for US clients. The title should accurately reflect the position, responsibilities, and if it often serves as first impression of potential candidates, right? So if the job posting is not like this, and ours is pretty thorough, right? It could always be better, but I think we do a pretty thorough job because I've been doing this a long time. But this is the kind of stuff you want to make sure you're looking for, because if the job posting looks bad to you, if it looks rushed, a lot of typos, not well spaced, not well thought out, there's a lot of ambiguity into it, that probably means the job's going to have a lot of ambiguity. The job's going to be kind of maybe even shady. So red flags. If you see them, trust them, right? The more job postings you look at, the more you're going to start seeing the good ones and the bad ones and be able to know right away if it's one you want to apply for. That's the job posting, right? Last thing we'll talk about, how to nail the interview. So I've recorded a bunch of videos about how to nail the interview over time, and at the end, I'll point you to a couple of them. But I want to share with you 5 key tips that I think are important, that once you look at the job posting, you break it down, you make sure it's the right fit for you, and you think it through, is this really what you want to do? And maybe you do a little research, maybe ask a question. I know that takes time, but let's think about that. Before the interview, when you go back to the job posting, I want to just kind of like pop back for a second and think about the job posting. We rush through everything. And why is that? Why are we always so much in a rush? Because we want to get on Online Jobs PH or on Indeed or on Upwork or looking for Facebook jobs through Facebook groups or wherever we're finding jobs at. And we want to just send, right? Why do we rush through that? Why are we taking that shotgun approach? Like, I need a job, so I'll apply for 100 jobs and hope I get one. I get it. It's kind of a panic thing, right? You kind of like a desperation thing. And I've been there. I've been jobless for a while and I've had struggled financially, right? So it's not like all roses. Basically, when you rush, it comes across in your application process. And the things I'm telling you to do are slower, right? But they're not that slow. It's not like everything I said takes that much time. If you look at a job and you just look at it, boom, 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 and you spend 10 seconds reading the job posting and you hit submit, okay, that was 10 seconds and you applied for a job. And then maybe you can apply for 10, 20 of them at a time. And you spent all of 3 or 4 minutes applying for 10 jobs. In 24 hours a day, if you spend 3 minutes looking for work, that's not a lot, right? On the flip side, if you do what I talk about, if you actually look for the nuances, if you look and make sure that everything makes sense, if you're trying to read to the bottom and make sure you meet all the requirements, if you're trying to figure out which transferable skills you have, and when you apply, you take time to kind of address those things appropriately, how long does that take? So you open the resume job, you link your resume, you make sure you answer any questions they have, you ask them a question. Maybe that takes 5 minutes, right? So now if you're applying for the same 10 jobs, instead of taking 3 minutes, it takes you an hour, but you still got 23 hours out of the day. You got plenty of time. And you're much more likely to get the job because you spent 5 minutes instead of a minute on each application. And that makes a big difference, right? This is, again, why most Filipino VAs struggle and why very few of them are actually able to go to Singapore to see Taylor, because they're not doing the little things that are really the big things. Enough on that. Back to where I was talking about the interview process. So say you applied for the job, the posting worked, and you applied for it, and you're one of the finalists. There's 5 things I want you to focus on. Number 1, make sure you're on time. I have very little tolerance for people that are late. Now, I get life gets in the way. I'm sick occasionally and I have to like reschedule interviews. Occasionally I forget about one, like rarely, maybe like, but most days I already know my schedule and I figure out what times I'm doing interviews and they're already booked in my calendar and I have reminders. And so basically I'll be on time for every interview. And that's what you should strive to do, because if you want to impress a client, nothing's more important than respecting the fact that they're trying to make money and their time is money, right? Especially for Americans. Right? Americans are probably the most financially driven people in the world. And I don't say that as a good thing or a bad thing, just a fact. We work really, really ridiculously hard, too hard. We don't take a lot of vacation time. We always worry about money, and it's very expensive to live in the United States. All these things are probably making it even more so that for American clients, time is money. So if you're applying for a job and you get an interview with an American client, the last thing you should ever do is be late. And if you're going to be late or going to miss it, do your best to tell them beforehand. Now, if I get an email or a DM even 5 minutes before the interview, and it says, I'm so sorry, I have to reschedule because this came up. I have an emergency, I have this, then I'll be like, okay, I'll give you a shot. I'll give you a chance, right? But if you miss the interview and 3 hours later, you send me a message saying, Sorry, this happened to me yesterday. We had to rush my aunt to the hospital. I hope her aunt's okay. I really do. But she couldn't send me a message sooner than the 3 hours. Okay, maybe the hospital had bad reception and her data was, she didn't have any load. I mean, I can give her excuses, but why am I doing that? I was there on time. I had people to interview before her, interview after her. She's not the only one I'm interviewing. So you know what I'm going to do? I hope her aunt's okay, but I'm going to swipe left and I'm going to go with somebody who was on time because I'm going to honor the fact that they respected my time. In the end, I hope this person, everything works out for her. I don't want to wish her any bad will. We're just not going to hire her because she missed the interview time and didn't say anything until 3 hours later. So be on time because to me, time is very valuable. So number two, know the client, right? So before you do an interview, this is a mind-boggling one. I asked this question in every interview, and today I had two people that gave me the wrong answer to this question. So the question is simple. So did you have a chance to look up Sonic VA in social media? What did you find? No, I did not, was the answer two people gave me today. Swipe left, right? Are we so busy that we can't take a minute to Google the company you're going to work for, the company that you want to help grow and get paid by and have a long-term relationship and have consistent income? You really want that to work, but you can't take a minute to be able to check and see if they're even legit, to look on their social media and learn something interesting about them? It's a bad sign, right? It takes 2 minutes to Google somebody before the interview, right? So if you're going to have an interview at 8 o'clock tonight, maybe around 7:50, a person that's organized and really wants the job and is serious would probably get online and maybe get on the Zoom call a little early, would Google that company beforehand, do a YouTube search, check on Facebook, look for a website, whatever it may be, try to learn a little bit. And that way, when you get on the interview, you have something to talk about besides yourself. You actually know what the client is looking for. And that's important because, again, most people don't do that. And when they don't, they get X'd. So know the client is number two. Number three, mind your background. My background, it's not perfect, right? The lighting here is okay, but my face is pretty well lit. Good sound, no distractions, right? So the background works, right? Light, sound, background choice is all important. I know sometimes we have to do things on the rush and outside, and I get it. But honestly, if I have three people I'm interviewing and the first two are at home in a quiet area with a calm, set around them, and I interview them and we have a good interview. Maybe I hear a rooster in the background. Maybe I hear a jeepney go by, but overall it's kind of quiet. And then I have that third person who's at a cafe or a coffee shop where it's super loud and you can hear dishes clanking and their Wi-Fi is not very strong and they kind of like freeze up. And why would I choose that person, right? I would more likely choose the people that were able to have a good, nice background. So mind your background, it matters. Dress for success, look the part, get the part, right? So I don't mean dress up, don't wear a suit, don't wear something super nice, but don't just show up like this. Hey, I had somebody come on the call this morning and I opened up the Zoom and the first thing she was doing was she was vaping and exhaling right into the camera. So the first thing I see when she comes on the Zoom is like this cloud of smoke coming in. I don't smoke and I'm not really like an anti-smoker, but again, these things matter, and then she was like this. Now she's a video editor. So maybe she's like, I'm just a video editor. I'm chill. I create things. I'm a creator. That's cool, but that's not what we want, right? So swipe left, look the part. And I don't mean just what you're wearing. I mean, how you show up, how you make eye contact. I had somebody interview today where she kept looking up. I know she was nervous. She probably hasn't had a lot of experience doing interviews with foreigners. And she's not perfect in English. So she was doing a lot of this. Well, my name is, and I do this. And the whole interview, she kept looking up. Maybe her cam wasn't working. I don't know. But again, these little things matter. And I'm not trying to be mean. We live in a world where IG, is all about TikTok and all about what we do is how we come across and how we express ourselves. And when you show up for a job interview and you're not thinking about how you're going to express yourself, how you're going to be ready for success, it shows. Number 5, show interest, not desperation, right? So I know some people come on the interview and they have a tough life and they're challenged and they're trying to figure out how to make it better. They need desperately to find work. I get it, especially in the Philippines. I'm in the Philippines. I spent a lot of my time here. I know that there's a lot of poverty here. I know people have a lot of stress. I know it's expensive. Living in Manila is almost as expensive as living in other parts of the world. It's crazy how expensive things are. But none of that should make you look desperate because I can't hire someone who's desperate. I want to hire somebody who's interesting. Again, I'm not trying to be mean or shallow. I need my business to be successful. I'm kind of desperate. And if I'm kind of desperate and I'm hiring you because I need help, and you need help, and maybe we can help ourselves. But more likely than not, we're just going to basically continue to not be great. So show interest, show some confidence if you have it, practice, 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 and you'll do fine, right? So these are the things that help you nail the interview, right? Be on time, know the client, mind your background, dress for success, and show interest, not desperation. I hope those tips helped. The last thing I mentioned is that I have a YouTube channel, Dan Meyer, Virtual Staffing Expert. And on my page, I have a couple hundred videos for you, for Filipino virtual assistants, about how to land clients, how to work with clients, things you can do to be more successful as a VA. So this is just one of several, that I've done this year, and I'll keep doing. I love doing webinars where I get a chance to speak to VAs like yourself. So that's it. We'll do two more things. I'll tell you what happens next for you, and then we'll do a Q&A. So if you have not already done so, now I know several of you on this call have already entered our application process, and I applaud you for taking the time to come to this meeting, because this webinar is key in what we're going to do if you end up working for us, right? So we're going to do a lot of lead generation, and I want you to understand how I think and how I work, so that if you're going to work with me, you'll be successful. But even if you're not part of that group and you want to work for us, submit your resume to danmayer@sonicva.com. Include in that email any relevant social media links to anything you do, like you have a Facebook business page, you have a portfolio, you have a Canva that you would like to share to demonstrate to clients, whatever it may be. And most importantly, I want you to do a little bit of something special. I want you to submit a 1-minute video of who you are and why you want to work with Sonic, right? Most people won't do this, right? So if there's 10 of you on the call and all 10 of you say you want to work with us, probably 3 or 4 will actually do these 3 steps. Most of you will send a resume, but a lot of you are like, I don't have time to put the links. It really doesn't matter. I don't want to do a video. And you talk yourself out of it. And now you just lost a chance to work with us, which maybe is cool for you. You can find other opportunities, but I think it's easy to record a video. We all have a phone. We spend a lot of time making videos. We probably all have either TikTok or YouTube or something to make videos for, Facebook Lives or whatever. Record a quick video, just look into the camera and say, hey, my name is XYZ, and I want to be a Sonic VA because I want to be able to accomplish this, because I have this is my story, and done. So that's it. Last thing I'll say is this great quote by Stephen Covey about why we should all understand each other better. Strengths lie in differences, not in similarities. As a team, we'll be better if we all work together. And that's why I do these webinars. So we can work through cultural differences and become better at communicating with each other. Cool. So thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel. Drop any comments below or look for us on social media. Thanks a lot for your time. Now get out there and have a great day.